Good morning, little monsters, and welcome back to Fighting Monster Right. It's about fighting monsters, right?
That's right.
I'm Adam in the AM.
I'm Allie. It's 6 a.m. and I have 6 roommates. So I am being quiet.
Yeah, we, in our new lives, or I guess my new life, I've been trying to feel out a good window of time to do our episode, and we're trying out the 6 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. slots.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, no. Oh, God, it's not a...
Oh, no.
It's not a 14-hour slot.
Wow, that's too long of an episode. Hang on, I'm going to have my coffee really quick.
Okay.
Oh, fuck. Piss. All right, that's better. Hey, guys.
Yes, so we're treating this like a morning show. We're gonna have fun events and have kids on to do backflips.
I, of course, am a creature of the night and have not seen a morning show in my entire fucking existence. So this will...
I don't think I've experienced one either. I just know community parody.
Why did we do this?
So we're gonna wing it, much like our monster for this week.
Hey, there we go.
Yeah.
And let me just divine what our monster is. Fortune.
You must be some kind of fortune teller. Van Meter visitor. Omen or flown in?
Yes, so Van Meter, Iowa.
Where we set our scene.
Where we set our scene is a city in one of Iowa's weird-ass square counties.
Everything over there is a square. The dancing, the states.
The counties.
The counties.
The
wheels on the bus, it's weird. I don't know why they decided that.
That's a very slow bus.
Every bus in Iowa is super slow.
The wheels on the bus go...
It reflects the education of the area.
I mean, let's not... Look, all of America is bad. Let's not get into it. Not this week.
Yeah,
I've mentioned it every week since we came back.
I looked at the stats recently. Pennsylvania's like number 39 in education. I'm like, I should be throwing no stones.
Yeah. You know what the fucking number one state for education is fucking just bury me in the ocean. Just throw me at the bottom of the sea. Anyway, the Van Meter visitor, 121 years ago, a strange creature is said to have paid a visit to the small town of Van Meter in Iowa. And that is direct from cryptids.fandom.com. One of our favorite websites.
Yes. I my second favorite source for cryptids, the first one being Beast Zoo cards.
Ooh, yeah.
Go on.
So in September and October of 1903, there were multiple instances of people claiming to have seen a winged bat-like creature in and around Van Meter. The roughly 9-foot-tall being, which has since been dubbed the Van Meter Visitor, was reported to be able to shoot light from the horn situated on its forehead and be unaffected by bullets. Clarence Dunn, one of the witnesses, had even made a plaster cast of 3-toed footprints it left behind. A smaller, similar being sometimes accompanied it. After a community-led confrontation, the being disappeared after about 4 days, supposedly into the nearby coal mine. Claims of witnessing bat-like creatures or phenomena have continued, including into the 2010s. To commemorate the sightings, a Van Meter Visitor Festival transpires annually around the anniversary of the events. Can you tell I like hearing myself talk?
Yes, so it's been a celebrated jumping frog of that region for quite some time. 100 years.
Yes.
And then some. I looked up some of the details of the story, and it's very funny because of the locals treated it like you would expect. Kind of a fly speck middle of nowhere town dealing with some kind of monster. It all talks about their various degrees of gun proficiency and how they... for example, shots were fired each time. First by implement dealer U.G. Griffith. As it flew across building tops, the monster shrugged them off like a minor nuisance.
Griffith.
Ulysses Griffith. The monster shrugged them off like a minor nuisance. The next night, the town doctor and bank cashier Peter Dunn separately saw the creature and opened fire. I love every time anyone sees the creature, they like start shooting.
You get off my property. Now get.
Yo, somebody's Sam all over it. Dunn even took a plaster cast of the great three-toed tracks. So yeah, back kind of Bigfoot times or pre-Bigfoot times. They're like, oh, look at these tracks here. Get out the school kids' supplies.
Yeah.
The following night, O.V. White, reportedly a deadeye with a gun, was awakened from his slumber in his quarters.
My source says O.W. White.
Oh.
My source is the St. Paul Globe from St. Paul, Minnesota, the 1903 11th of October Sunday edition.
Wow, I'm pulling this from the Des Moines Register.
Interesting. Well, Mr. White is going to have to... Excuse me, Dr. White. He did not go to 5 minutes of old-timey times medicine school.
Yeah, it's the same school as the barber school.
Single classroom medical school to be called Mr.
Single classroom, same lessons.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, look, it's red or blue. You'll see one or the other.
You hear that story about how barber poles have like the red wrapping around them because it's supposed to be like bloody bandages?
I did not hear that.
The fuck is that? That can't be true. It's crazy. Why would it be like that? Why would you go there and be like, oh yes, the hair cuttery?
Once upon a time at a used book sale, I got like how to be a barber, like giant like tome about. I'm like, wow, it really like just hammered in my head. It's like, yeah, there is a barber school and there are rules and they have like a code. Like I would not be surprised if there's dimensions about how to construct and operate a barbershop pole. And in my mind, I'm thinking like, what if they accidentally spin it backwards? It's an entirely different symbol.
Whoa, I'm most of the way through Agatha All Along as we speak. So that just put a whole image in my head.
Yeah. But anyway, Mr. White, Dr. White. God damn it, we just the whole bit. Dr. White, reportedly dead with a gun, was awakened from his slumber in his quarters above the hardware store.
Wait, I'm so sorry. I think it is W.
Okay.
And it's short for Walter.
Oh, yeah. The old Walter White.
Yes, old Walter. Dr. Weisenberg Walter White.
Dr. Old Weisenberg White. Woke up from his slumber above his quarters, above the hardware store, and shot at the creature was perching atop a telephone pole. This awakened Sidney Gregg, who had been sleeping in his store nearby. Gregg said the monster hopped like a kangaroo. Even local high school teachers saw it and deemed it some sort of creature against God.
It's an antediluvian animal, is the word that I've seen.
Yeah, which is a crazy word for 1903 people to be dropping.
Oh, well, antediluvian simply means before the flood.
Ah, wow. Yeah, I was speaking of those biblical energies. It was the local librarian Lena Walker. She said something to the tune of, I believe there is a God, so I believe there is a demon.
Dang. There's a lot of people that believe in God, but not hell. And I'm like, pussy. Absolute pussy shit. Get real.
Yeah, no, that's a deep-seated Catholic guilt speaking. But yes, so everyone from town was chiming in, and after the events, there's an author that had said look, these weren't town drunks that were reporting this. These were people with a reputation that wouldn't be on record.
Yes. So
it kind of leads some credence to the tale.
Now, one person that my source mentioned that you did not. First off, it describes U.G. Griffith's sighting as he drove into town at 1 a.m. and saw what seemed to be an electric searchlight on Maher and Griggs' store. And his story was not believed the next day, but the following night, Dr. A.C. Olcott, who sleeps in his office on a principal street, was awakened by a bright light shining in his face. Now, that's an interesting thought because Well, and then the story continues. He grabbed a shotgun and ran outside the building where he saw a monster seemingly half human and half beast with great bat-like wings. A dazzling light that fairly blinded him came from a blunt, horn-like protuberance in the middle of the animal's forehead, and it gave off a stupefying odor that almost overcame him.
Yeah, the odor is something we haven't mentioned, but they had a smell to them.
A faintly glowing, blunt, horn-like protuberance and a stupefying odor. Fucking... Man, I'll tell you what, I think it was weed. I don't think it was a dragon at all, or a pterodactyl, or whatever.
You think it was a weed that killed the beast?
Yes.
Or that summoned it, at least.
It wasn't the airplanes. 'Twas weed killed the beast. That's like the new King Kong that they'll have to make after they outlaw weed. It's already... What am I talking about? Kong. It's already outlawed.
You hear that?
No.
I said that. Donkey Kong.
Oh, shit. Whoa.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
6 a.m. Adam's got it.
6 a.m.
Sometimes.
Oh, baby, he's got it.
So yeah, that's we wanted to propose some some theories for what could have gone down on site here. I think that's one, a kind of summoned by the devil's buds.
A weed monster. Finally. Honestly, I've been trying to get a weed monster this whole show.
Yeah, and I mean, like, not just not a mass hallucination because everyone was high. I'm talking about, like, specifically, people are getting high, and this monster comes up from hell to get some.
Yes, yeah. Oh, okay, so not like punishment.
No, like...
Not like a stoner comedy version of Prince of Egypt. Like...
more like, you have brought hell to earth, so now it's hospitable for me.
I send the cannabis, I send the indica, I can't fucking do it. I'm too high on coffee.
Well, that was a part of the story that really intrigued me, is because this isn't, I thought all the kind of alien connections and pterodactyl stuff, it was like, this is kind of Jack the Ripper. This creature flew in, fucks around, and flies off. But no, there's an actual, like, cave associated with this story.
Yeah.
This creature came up from reportedly a mine shaft, and its other smaller counterpart was seen in it, and, they went to, like, everyone grabbed their gun, their 1903 equivalent of pitchforks and torches, which is just guns.
It might have... They may have also brought pitchforks and torches just for, like, ambiance,
Yeah, to see where their guns are shooting, and to stab at the things that they're guns.
To make sure they hit the Van Meter visitor and his Godzuki, like his son.
Yeah, his slightly version. So, that is another thing I wanted to bring up here. Son or sexual dimorphism. Yeah, so, just to posit that real quick, that, hey, this could be a male and a female, or a female and a male.
You know what? I do believe that Pteranodon, male Pteranodon had wingspans of about 18 to 25 feet, and females averaged about 12 feet.
Mm-hmm.
The crests of the males were also far larger than those of females. So it's possible that it's... What is it? There is precedent for sexual dimorphism in the Pterosauria, assuming that this thing is a living pterosaur, which we decided early on, we're going to get to the bottom of what this thing is, and we are not going to accept that sometimes people just tell funny stories.
Yeah, entirely unacceptable.
No. It can't just be that it's just a story. It has to have
They can't have wanted to put their backspit town on the map.
Mm-hmm.
And all the valuable people in town got together and came up with a tall tale.
We're talking about this town 121 years later, which I guess cryptids.fandom.com just keeps that number up to date for some reason.
Someone comes in every what day did this take place? Is there a date to it? Not October 3rd?
October 10th?
October 3rd.
Yeah.
Set an alarm to update cryptids.com.
Interestingly, a lot of the depictions and a lot of the wording on like Wikipedia and cryptids.fandom.com says it fired beams of bright light from its forehead, but all the contemporary newspapers say that it was like emanating a light, shining a light that was blinding. Because at first I was like, this is pre-Superman by like 30 years. So is this the first like instance of laser vision? It also predates the laser by about 50 years.
True. That's a great point. And I don't know, maybe it sounds to me like a way to describe whatever it was doing. Imagine like a miner's headlamp could be described in this very similar way. And that's a theory I want to get to right now. I feel like we've tangented off a couple here.
Yes.
But just very simply, the Marty McFly theory.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, in Back to the Future, a film I've never mentioned before in my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
Young teenage Marty McFly travels back to 1955 from 1985, and runs into his DeLorean, which looks like a spaceship, into a barn, and the kid that lives there with a comic book thinks that he's some kind of alien. Because the comic book cover shows a yellow-suited alien crash down onto the planet, and he's just so happens to be wearing a plutonium,
a hazmat suit to prevent contamination from plutonium.
Yes, he's wearing a yellow hazmat suit that covers his face, and his gull-wing door opens up, and it is all the telltale signs of aliens, even though it's something that's explainable by later day technology. So my thoughts are winged suit, headlamp, some kind of ability to leap, and some kind of weird looking head. This could be a time traveler's helmet.
Could be.
A fellow time travelers in this cave where they landed.
It did say that it climbed down a telephone pole using its beak much in the manner of a parrot. So I don't know what kind of technology that is.
No. I guess I'm focused on the kind of the bootstrap paradox of this.
Mm-hmm.
We have time travel. Let's go back to October of 1903 and find out what the Van Meter visitor really was. And turns out, it's you. You were it all along.
Or perhaps they were trying to make sure that their mom, one of the 1,000 people in Van Meter Visitor, in Van Meter, Iowa, it's 6 a.m., was, I don't remember Back to the Future. I probably would if you just mentioned it at least once in your whole life.
Yeah, things are fine with his mom and dad. But in we have a bad relationship kind of way. But he accidentally gets in the middle, and his mom gets a crush on him, and that goes down.
I don't want to watch this movie. Okay, anyway.
I think it was John Mulaney had a bit about it, but it's in premise, this is a very, very, very hard pitch. I can see why it took them to 7 studios or whatever.
So, it came out of a coal mine.
Yes.
Here's my idea. Okay, so imagine there's a miner, right?
Can I imagine if I will?
Imagine if you will.
No, thank you.
Submitted for the approval of the Twilight Zone Society. A miner who leads a sinful life in the 1800s or something. Maybe he does, steals horses or something.
Mm-hmm.
One day, while on the job, he perishes, underground and out of the sun. Falls into... I can't do the Rod Serling, I'm sorry. You do the Rod Serling.
That's okay, that's fine. You just, tell me the pitch.
Okay. Evil miner comes back as a devil. Evil miner comes back as a devil.
So some kind of miner 49er situation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
A spookum, an undead.
Yes.
That's a revived miner. Or 2.
Or maybe a pterodactyl ghost also wants revenge at the same time, and they just happen to get their ectoplasms matched up.
It's funny that no one talks about ghosts of dinosaurs.
There'd be so many.
Yeah, they all have unfinished business.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? The meteor made sure of it.
Their unfinished business is they have to rule the earth. So, like, a pterodactyl ghost comes up at the same time that a minor ghost is going down. They meet. They fall in love. They mix their ectoplasms. Next thing you know, bada bing, bada boom, fan meter visitor. And then I guess another evil minor and another evil pterodactyl do the same thing. And then there's two.
I really like the buoyancy, like, physics of that. One goes up, the other goes down. And it's like it creates a wormhole that spits them out.
It's like that Umbrella Academy meme. Like,
yeah, it becomes they become like Danny Phantom in the Phantom Zone.
Yes, exactly. Their molecules get all rearranged. Honestly, who knows about the mechanics of the Ghost Zone? Truly.
Yeah. Funny enough, I was able to pull that off of my wife recently.
I'm sorry, you combined on the Ghost Zone?
No, we were talking about shows from the 90s and aughts, and she asked, like, wait, who's Danny Phantom? And I was able to explain to her very calmly that Danny Phantom was just 14, was built a very strange machine. It was pretty amazing.
The thing is, it was designed to view a world unseen.
Yeah, I was very proud.
Very good.
But yeah, okay, so a mixing matching of different ghosts. I also think similarly, it's another classic atomism. A kind of hollow world theory could be dropped here.
Oh, I was absolutely thinking something like that.
It's not pitched as like we traveled through all the parts of the mine shaft and we understood it. It was more like maybe someone mined and got to Mines of Moria. They went too deep. They tapped into shit that they weren't supposed to. And one of those things is a passage to the center of the earth where there's all kinds of terrible lost dinosaurs and stuff in fiction.
Last year, during the Tarzan episode, I believe.
Oh, God.
Which was an episode that I recorded seconds before my getting a terrible stomach virus. So that's why I was off that whole episode. But
I don't have an excuse.
But
should just be happening in April. You never know.
A lot of monkey business be happening in April. But we talked about a pterodactyl man possibly becoming the mayor of a town in Wisconsin. I think something similar might be going on there. I think that pterodactyl may have political aspirations.
Do you think that this was this pterodactyls had a whole Don Bluth like style, like I want to see the world and everything that's above?
Oh my gosh! I want to be where the people are. I want to see them dancing, waving around those, what are they called? Arms. Because it has feet.
Yeah, and as it flies around, it's just like, wah! And everyone's like, oh god! So, learned a real lesson about the upstairs world. Another
idea that I had. Adam, would you believe this is not the only glowing pterosaur cryptid?
I would not believe that after our Nessie episode, exploring all the different ones.
Well, one creature that I've been meaning to bring up for a while is a cryptid in the vein of Mokele Mbembe, called the Ropen.
Ropen? That's the stalactite one, right? That hangs to the top of the dungeon?
Mm-hmm. It's also spelled Ropen, and it is a cryptid thought to be a pterosaur on the island of New Guinea that produces a light possibly to attract fish.
Wow, they talk about all kinds of cryptids out there in New Guinea. I think the real ancient cryptids are in Old Guinea. We should get to the bottom of this.
That makes sense. New Guinea just came around.
Yeah, New Guinea's got all them fresh cryptids. I want them ancient cryptids.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But tell me more about the Ropen.
So the Ropen leaves a trail, I believe, of light behind it, which is, I don't know how or why that would happen, like biologically.
The artist's depiction does not help on Cryptid Wiki.
Yeah.
It just looks like this is what's the word I'm going to use? Flatulating a straight laser beam.
Oh, yes, I see. This healing fetish figure from the Upper Karam River, Lower Sepik/Ramu region, New Guinea, depicting a bird-like spirit from indigenous mythology. I will say that this is probably not a ropin, because the ropin is probably something that Christians made up, because they're the kind of Christian that believes that Jesus can't exist unless dinosaurs are real.
Yeah, the demon flyer, as it's called in some places, and people are just holding up a big bat, and it's like, nope, it's a bat. So you think this could be related to the Van Meter visitor, or the Van Meter visitor is just straight up a ropin?
Yeah, I think that could be it. I think we can connect these dots.
Okay, that's connected. Did you know that Papua New Guinea is on the exact local opposite as Van Meter Island?
I believe that to be true, and I'm not going to check.
Me too. A lot of things can happen when you do that.
Man, what a brave new world we live in.
So, we hit a bunch of theories real fast there.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see what other meat's on this bone.
Yes.
A creature from the underworld, a creature from under the world, a cryptid from the other side of the world. What do you think the Van Meter visitor's opinion on guns is?
Probably anti. It has been shot at a lot.
But they didn't do nothing to it.
Maybe it's like Superman. Maybe it's like, another Superman similarity, I guess.
Yeah, Superman, back to Danny Phantom for some reason. What if the Van Meter visitor is some local's, like, superhero identity?
Oh. It's also a little Batman, actually.
Yeah, it could... especially when you start talking gadgets.
Mm-hmm.
I like how the headlamp or whatever is described as some kind of electricity.
One of them fancy city gadgets.
Yeah, well, maybe it's some kind of big city. A person who's it was some kind of big city vigilante who chased someone out to the sticks.
Some sort of quasi-rocketeer, almost.
Yeah, some all the gear and happenings of that, and they were solving crime in Iowa.
Corn crime.
I'm delving further into my ass than I was expecting.
I mean, also maybe somebody just made up a story, just just for fun. Maybe somebody had a searchlight and pranked some people. I don't know.
Yeah, are you implying that they only knew about 2 dinosaurs back then in Van Meter, Iowa? The flying one and the ground one?
No, surely not. This is about 2 years before they discovered T-Rex, though.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good point. Was the pterodactyl discovered before the Van Meter visitor?
Yes. Yeah, there were, pterosaurs were well known from, English fossils. I don't know about any American pterosaurs, but I guess they would assume that it was just kind of, all one sort of thing. For a while, they thought they were actually, aquatic, because they would find them in, in the same sediment as, ichthyosaurs and stuff, like the fishy-looking ones and things like that. So it's kind of funny to imagine just, a whole pterodactyl just, swimming around underwater. But then again, it's weird when birds do that, too.
Yeah, whenever I see a bird, dip down for a bit, I'm like, whoa, I didn't know this is some kind of all-terrain vehicle.
Pick a lane. You can walk, swim, and fly? I'd like to speak to a manager. Let me double check, actually. So,
it's more like, you have all the freedom in the world of flying around. Why would you take the downgrade and just hop in the water?
Oh, Pteranodon was described by Othniel Charles Marsh in 1876.
Charles Marsh, is he the bad one?
Cope and Marsh are both the bad ones.
Okay.
Yeah, but no, that's a Bone Wars, baby. So that's...
Bone Wars.
Yeah, so they would be very aware of pterodactyls, I believe.
Bone Wars are ready.
What's the story, Bone Wars?
Another theory came to me while you're describing that. Perhaps the Van Meter visitor could be some kind of agent of Team Magma.
Okay. I'm listening.
has a home that delves deep into the earth,
Mm-hmm.
and has plans to terraform the the planet to make it more hospitable for its kind. Came onto the surface to trigger some kind of event. They was hoping that the Hicks of Van Meter would fill the cave with explosives and accidentally activate a volcano.
I like to think that it just, like, didn't really have a plan. It was just, like, it made it all the way up to the surface from its, like, subterranean cave world and was like, well, surely I made it all the way here. So surely at the end of this journey, I will achieve what I want, which is to create eternal night, so that the cave pterodactyls may rise.
Journey from the center of the earth.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But then it just got up there and it was like just regular people from Iowa, and like they didn't know how to do that, and there was no means of doing that once it got up there.
I love the concept of, look, the vendors are just real fucking tired. Just exhausted. Just like, by the time I got to the top, I was like, whew, oh god. What was I doing again?
It's up at 1 a.m.
Oh, hey guys, how's it going? Oh, and so they're like, oh god, a monster. No. I can't, let me explain. Jesus Christ. You guys invent Gatorade yet?
Underground Jesus.
This must be some kind of demon. No, I'm an evangelist.
I'm an evangelist of underground Jesus. Please let me...
Have you guys heard of Jesus as well? Because that's... I got to say, just like the pitch of, I believe there's a god, so I believe this is there's a demon, is very antithetical to our program. That the Van Meter Visitor could be just as Christian as the residents of Iowa.
Yeah. Actually, this is an interesting question. Was the Van Meter Visitor sentient? Because it doesn't say so, but maybe.
The name always brings me to that. It's not the Van Meter monster. It's not the Van Meter beast. It's just a visitor. A visitor is someone that, rings the doorbell, comes in, brought some wine glasses.
Brought a casserole made of, like, worms or something.
Yeah, like a worm casserole. Sits down for a bit, has some fun exchanges, and then goes home. Like, that's, to me, that's the difference between a beast that gets lost in the woods, never to be found again. So a visitor, someone that stopped by, then when they went back home.
You know what? It lives underground. What if it literally eats lead?
That would explain the smell.
That would explain the smell. That would smell crazy. You know it smelled crazy in there. But also, like, it gets shot at, and it's just like, yum, 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 a source of food. A bird feeder called Van Meter, Iowa.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. It's like, a bunch of buck spray to that creature is just a bunch of, bird seed being shot at it. Huh. Okay. Yeah, maybe that's why it keeps popping around. To your point, okay, maybe not, a super intelligent creature, but as smart as, like, a bird.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, I got fed here yesterday, let me come back. Hey, what's up? And, maybe it has a nest with some younglings back in the cave.
Yeah.
Birds make nests in caves, right?
Some birds do, yeah, like a cave swift. Mm-hmm. They make nests out of their own spit and some mud.
Yeah. This could be also the super villain origins of some canary in a coal mine.
Oh, you think this is like a Serena thing? Like this is a canary that went good girl gone bad?
Yeah, like fell over, then got mutated by whatever they found underneath. There's all kinds of terrible and magical gases and stuff under the earth. Like
some kind of golden age comic book, like de-evolution radiation stone or whatever.
Yeah. I guess what I'm so I'm doing the same kind of extrapolation that the Van Meter residents did, where it's like, if there's a god, there must be a demon. I'm saying, well, if people that have magical stones and gems and stuff like that, they say they have special properties. I'm saying if that's around, then certainly the off gases from years of radiation from these stones and stuff, the same stuff that makes helium underneath our planets, might be making some terrible magical gases.
Okay, so wait, so this is like a canary in a coal mine dies and then has its chakras so fucking aligned that it just becomes. This is just an enlightened canary.
Yeah, enlightened, literally enlightened. But yeah, it digivolves down there, grows a horn, shoots lasers, has pterodactyl arms.
This is 100% a digi evolution rather than like a Pokemon thing.
I agree. I that's why I had to like leave every night, because it had to like go back to its base form. I briefly watched some Digimon over this past weekend, and I'm the lesser for it. So I do not like this program. Not my scene. That's okay. I'm not sure how deep into the barrel we've dug yet, but is there any other possible theory on the table?
What if the real Van Meter visitor was man?
Yeah, so some kind of vampire.
Not where I was going with that, but speak. Speak on that.
Only comes out at night, flies around, part bat.
Shines a light, though. What's that about?
In the days before electricity, you gotta do something. When there's no like gas lamps and street lamps around. That's I think a very important part of this story that it might be like forgotten is that there was no street lamps out there, right?
I don't believe there were street lamps out there. No.
Yeah, so what you saw was what the moon granted. So I guess that any creature of any size might could be this buddy.
True.
But it's to your point about man. What you got?
I think that the real Van Meter visitor is man. I think this thing was secretly in Van Meter the whole time. And then man showed up.
Yeah, started knocking on his door. Started digging where it shouldn't be digging.
Just nobody noticed it until now.
Yeah.
Like this guy runs the general store. Just nobody noticed he was a laser pterodactyl.
Yeah, a pterodactyl, an ancient creature, a dinosaur, been around for a millennia is what's stuck around for. Could be a very different lifespan. Could be like I go out onto the surface like a turtle, only a couple times in my life to lay some eggs.
I think this guy was just like a regular townsfolk.
Okay. You think this is like oh my god, I came to check up on my property, and you guys have settled here and made a big mess of things?
Yeah, just a totally random guy who just so happens to be a laser pterodactyl and just nobody noticed. Like, he was just, he was there, and then the town built around him, and for some reason, everybody is just rolling nat ones on perception checks whenever he's around.
I like the idea of just like, keeps going to like the town square. It's like, you guys gotta leave here. And no one paid any attention.
And then he straps an electric light to his head. Like, I know how to get him to pay attention with my electric light.
Full just Scooby-Doo villain now.
Now let's see who this monster really is. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's some disgruntled fella that made a costume to scare off the townsfolk.
No, Adam, you're not getting it.
I guess I just keep pitching side pitches to you.
He is a pterodactyl. Like, that's real.
Okay.
It's just that he also is a regular guy.
Okay, now in my head I'm picturing the Jim Henson 90s Dinosaurs sitcom.
You know how in the Muppets, right?
Yeah.
In the Muppets, there's Muppets and there's people, and there's no origin story for that. No one questions that. It's just like that, right?
Yeah.
What I propose is that it's like that, except everybody on Earth is people, and there's just one Muppet.
Okay. This makes a lot more sense now. Thank you for describing it.
You're welcome.
Like that.
Yeah. God just fucked up one time. God just fucked up one time and made a Muppet.
Not every creature got in the ark, you know?
Not every creature.
And Muppets, their only way to kill them is with fire.
Kermit just sees the floodwaters coming and just makes a scrunched up face.
Yeah, I'm unfortunately not that kind of frog.
Miss Piggy turns into a pillar of salted pork.
Gonzo keeps one of the chickens.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. My Muppet knowledge isn't that deep. We should have a whole episode where Tom tells us about them.
No, Gonzo's married to a chicken.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I was right.
Correct. We haven't mentioned this on the show yet. We have an official podcast chicken.
Oh, we do?
Yeah.
Tell us about the chicken.
Tom messaged me and said, Allie, can you name this chicken? And additional information was she's trans and she bites and she wants to be a mom one day. And I was like, my first instinct is to name it Allie, but that would be too perfect. And then I was like, Allie, too perfect. First name Allie, middle name the number 2, last name perfect. So we have an official podcast chicken.
You can check it on the Allie Too Perfect's activities on our Discord page.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so last check. Any meat left on the Van Meter visitor bones? We have to send the people off to work.
Yes, I think we cracked it. I think we cracked the case. I think we cracked it wide open. I think it's one of those things that we thought was funny.
It's one of those 20 things that we thought was funny, which is the tagline of our podcast.
God fucked up and made a Muppet, or maybe it's the ghost of a miner that married a ghost of a pterodactyl, or maybe it's from the Hollow Earth.
It's a Teenage Mutant Ninja Canary.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, one of those many things. So let's go to the final rating place and put this visitor to bed.
Yep.
Allie, I'm inclined to give the Van Meter visitor a very high rating.
Oh.
I think it's the right amount of cryptid lore, where reading this news article gives me that little tingle down my spine. There's some fun events surrounding it, and it's just the right amounts before, no one goes Van Meter visitor hunting with big, groups of people. And it's like, Jesus, are we... It's in that kind of Punxsutawney Phil amount of, there's a little too much mysticism on this random-ass town. And I like it. I think that there's a Gravity Falls energy to Van Meter.
Yeah, this is a bit of a fearsome critter, for sure.
Oh, yeah, that too. So I'm giving the Van Meter visitor an 8.5 for being a top cryptid that we've discussed.
Yeah. I think it has exactly the right amount of superpowers.
That's a good way to put it, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't breathe fire or something, but it does do something crazy that I've never seen before. Bioluminescence is rare in terrestrial environments. What is there, fireflies? I thought of one immediately, and I can't think of a second one.
But maybe maybe less rare in subterranean environments.
Maybe. I'm gonna assume that's true. But I'm gonna give the Van Meter visitor, who has been a delightful source of inspiration for us, I'm gonna give it 981 out of 1,000, because that is the elevation of Van Meter, Iowa.
As you know, all cities cap off at 1,000 elevation. Mm-hmm. It just that's the top of the world. It draws a line like in Minecraft.
Denver, you're on thin ice.
So we'll thanks for joining us for this episode. Stay tuned for more fantastic adventures from under the world or over it.
Or to the side of the world. That's the thing that nobody thinks of, we go up, we go down, we never go to the side.
There could be someone right next door.
There could be someone right next door.
We should say, and have a nice morning.
Have a nice... Wow, fuck. Okay. Yeah, have a nice morning, kids. Fuck.